you can do is actually get what's called a skirt.
Our boy Desert Snow, and he's such a good boy.
It's not too cold for what's called a poop popsicle.
I too hate sweaty walls.
Tane's technique for getting rid of the grackles.
Grackle!
Preparing your camper van for a winter RV life can be a real challenge and certainly varies depending on the rig you have. Now, we've been living in our Winnebago EKKO
Desert.
snow for over a year. We've been in the snow a lot. We've learned a lot. And we're going to share our experiences with you and also tips that will apply not just to our Winnebago EKKO, but to your rig as well.
So that is the name of our RV, Desert Snow, and it's because we're from Boston as well as Las Vegas. And while we do love spring and summer RVing, we enjoy winter camping as well, right, babe?
Oh man, there is nothing quite like winter camping, whether it's that winter campfire in the snow, whether it's going off snowshoeing, whether it's going off like crazy sledding, or even hot tent camping. We've had so much fun.
Yes, so that's exactly right. And today we're gonna share with you how we prepare our camper van for winter RV camping. But it's not exactly what you think.
And just real quick, you may hear some planes going overhead because we are camping right now right next to the Las Vegas airport, getting ready before we head off into the mountains.
Oh, and don't think, you snowbirds, that this information doesn't apply to you as well, because winter is coming for all of us.
Hey babe, let's talk about a cold wind in the winter, what that means for rigs, right? That can really make it cold pretty quickly, especially kind of coming down here. It's if you have wind blowing under the rig, kind of getting up underneath, even though the EKKO is insulated, there's still some weakness underneath. You can feel that cold a little bit in some places. And so what you can do is actually get what's called a skirt. And a skirt, that's right. And it's basically an insulated piece of fabric that you basically button all around the rig to stop that wind flow from coming under your rig. And now we haven't done that yet. Maybe we'll do that if we start doing some really extreme cold weather camping, right, for a long time. We'll probably get ourselves a skirt as well.
Now, many RVers would consider draining their water pipes and their tanks in the winter to prevent them from freezing. Many going as far as putting in some RV antifreeze. We don't have to do that for a couple of reasons. Well, first, and I will say this, our boy Desert Snow, and he's such a good boy, all of his water tanks and lines are behind these thick insulated walls and floors, which really helps to prevent them from freezing. But also, behind these insulated walls, our water control panel, our garage space, it all has ducted heat, which allows us to go off grid in the cold weather for extensive amount of times without any freezing. But speaking of which, inside this garage, if we were at a campground and we had an insulated hose and we wanted to plug up to the water, we can certainly do that, but we don't. And a couple reasons why: we have a 50-gallon fresh, so we fill it up, but we do quite a bit more boondocking than in campgrounds. So with that being said, we don't need it.
Now, many RVs have what's called single pane windows, and those will bleed heat incredibly. They are not very well insulated at all. And you'll see people actually putting up insulation barriers over those windows, which can actually block all the light into the rig, which is kind of depressing. But what we have here is actually dual pane windows, which is very different. I said dual pane windows. Dual pane. Oh wait.
Dual pane windows. Hi. Yeah, as you can see, they're dual. Nice and dually, which allows us to not only enjoy the outside and bring in some of that natural light, but it also allows me to close this to keep you out of my dirty kitchen. Get out of my kitchen. But we love dual pane. Dave, tell them more about the dual pane light.
Well, that's all there is to say about that.
What's up next on the agenda?
Now, have you ever enjoyed just a wonderful popsicle in the winter?
It's too cold for popsicles in the winter. I prefer like hot cocoa.
Well, it's not. Well, that actually is kind of relevant. It's not too cold for what's called a poop popsicle. Here, let me show you.
Ew, a poop popsicle? Like, why do I need to see a poop popsicle? No, thank you.
Well, fortunately, you probably won't have to at all. But actually, a common problem that you can run into when you're winter camping in traditional rigs, if you basically assume this is, now we don't have a black tank, and we'll talk about that later, but this is our gray tank drain. And many times this is what will be behind insulated walls like it is here. But this can freeze up, right, and cause a lot of damage. But another issue is that if you actually connect your black tank to the drain in the winter, that actual pipe can actually freeze up as well and crack, and also create like frozen, whatever, like poop popsicles in there as well. So you don't want to do that. If you're gonna camp and you have a black tank, don't stay hooked up to the drain pipe in the winter months. Just drain it when you hook it up when you're draining it, and then put it back after you're finished draining. Now, of course, babe, you know we don't have a black tank, right? Right, we have this wonderful cassette toilet behind this insulated wall, which is convenient for us. But what do you call this thing again?
It's your toilet suitcase.
That's right, portable toilet suitcase. The nice thing is you can just kind of take this out and you can dump this anywhere.
What? You can't dump it anywhere. Well, where can you really dump it? Because you don't want people thinking that we dump it on the ground.
Yeah, no. Time out. No, of course, we don't do that at all. But any toilet, porta potty, of course, RV park, places like that, rest area. There's a lot of convenience here in Cassette. You can dump it in many places.
All right, so really quick for those of you wondering, well, how do we survive with that tiny cassette toilet off boondocking for say a couple of weeks? Well, I have in that garage space right over there, hidden right over there. In that garage space, I have a tent and a princess toilet, along with a couple of lovely disposable bags where we can then, once we get off to the next spot, go ahead and just dump them. So it's a convenient way to stay off grid and enjoy yourself without being out of luck.
Phew! Oh my goodness gracious. Did you just fart?
No, I did not fart. Crazy. That's someone's releasing the black tank, I think, somewhere. Yeah. Now, for those with other rigs, and if you have a black tank, certainly let us know in the comments below how you handle your black tank during the cold winter months.
Just pause this video right now. Go ahead down there, leave a comment and let us know. And then come on back and continue right where you left off. We'll see you in a second.
All right, so quick story time. So when Dave and I first got Desert Snow, we were definitely excited about going off and doing some winter camping. And we're talking about places where the temperature was gonna get down to the single digits. So yes, it's a brand new RV. They do ensure that it's got great insulation, but you never know it's an RV. So for our comfortability, we just wanted to make sure those compartments were actually being heated and sustaining temperatures way above freezing. So we ended up getting this. Ta-da! They're called temp sticks. So we got a couple of these temperature sticks and we placed them in various places around the RV. And the biggest reason for us doing that was it allowed us to monitor the temperature via Wi-Fi. So even away from the RV, we were able to check the temperatures on a frequent basis to know what the readings were. Now, you will have to have some sort of Wi-Fi connection in your RV for them to work, but they work amazing. And if you're curious about learning more of this, we do have a link in our Amazon store below where you can learn more about these temp sticks. But for us, they work really well. And we have 3 and we love them.
Now, we do have a small dirty secret. We have a small base heater, which we do use on occasion. I gotta admit, when it gets really cold, sometimes up here in the transit side of the EKKO, it gets a bit drafty. So we may have the space heater to kind of warm up this area a little bit, but you never want to just rely on the space heater to heat the whole rig. You need to use the rig's heater. As we talked about before, that heat warms the compartments that are kind of maintaining, the water and everything else from not freezing. All right, babe, it's time for a little bit of a game changer winter RV camping talk. You ready for that?
Oh, the game changer, the RV game changer.
And you know what we're talking about?
What are we talking about?
Well, we are talking about our heating system, both the heater and the hot water, right? We have the EKKO for the water heat. What do we got for the heat inside?
The Vario heat on the inside.
Right, the Truma Vario heat. And we've found that these systems are just unbelievably efficient. Of course, they run off propane. We have 2 20-pound propane tanks. We found that after 8 nights last winter in 15-degree weather, we ran the heater constantly for those 8 nights. We only used 3/4 of one of the tanks.
That's right.
And that was awesome.
That was awesome.
That is incredibly efficient.
And the other was full.
I know, exactly.
Amazing.
Unbelievable. And so, it's incredibly efficient, incredibly quiet. We're toasty inside, so it's pretty darn good. Definitely not sponsored, but hey, Truma, let us know. But yes, not sponsored. But one thing we did add on this one, you don't want to drive with the propane on. And one concern we had was, well, if the propane's not on, is there a risk of the EKKO actually freezing if you're driving down really cold, through really cold weather with nothing on here? Because there is water that's quite close here, as you can see. So we've added in, Truma provides this, effectively an electric antifreeze system. So that's in here, so the propane will be off, but the antifreeze electric system prevents any freezing.
Yeah, and Dave did a great job installing that. And if you're driving down the road in the freezing cold, there is a preventative measure, right?
Well, yeah, when you set this up, you go inside and you actually turn on the system, but you do need to kind of put this in here as well so the air won't kind of cut back in. So just kind of put that in here.
And close it up.
Close it up. And you'll see right there, you know it's right when it's sticking through there, and you're good to go. But you got to turn it off first before you do that. So what am I doing here? No, it is already off. Oh my goodness, it's off. Look at it. I did it right. I did it right.
High five.
But we don't need this right now.
So before we get into this next part, which I feel is a really important piece as to why we truly enjoy off-grid camping and camping in winter in desert snow, is a bonus tip, and that has to do with propane. And some of you B-classers or van lifers may not have it, but a lot of RVs still have propane and rely on propane for cooking, maybe even your heating, things of that nature. So for us, having such a smaller rig, we like to preserve our propane, and the way we do that is by not using it when we don't have to, such as cooking. So I'm going to show you really quick. I have a single burner induction portable cooktop, and for me it's really important. I love to cook, and so instead of wasting the propane, which we like to use and preserve for the hot water and the heat, I tend to use my induction cooktop. And if you don't have one, they're very easy to find. You can find them anywhere. As a matter of fact, I love to cook. So if you haven't seen any of our videos when I'm cooking some food, you should go check them out because I can cook up a mean storm. I love it. Right, Dave?
Oh man, you cook amazing food, baby. Amazing. No, I mean it though. You do.
You're the best.
You're awesome, babe.
So really quick about the propane, one last piece is one great thing that we have is a monitoring system for the propane tank, so we know what the levels are before we actually start heading to our destination. Our Mopica system, they attach right onto the bottom of the propane tanks. You can use either the monitor that's in the RV or you can use it via app, and we find that to be very efficient and a peace of mind, especially if you're going to be winter camping. Well, welcome to our bedroom area. And I feel it's a great opportunity for us to talk about sweaty walls.
Oh, I love sweaty walls.
I know you like sweaty walls.
Nothing like a sweaty ball.
Sweaty balls.
Good times.
Good times.
I hate sweaty walls, especially in an RV. All right, we are talking about condensation. Now, I know a lot of us in the RV community have dealt with or may still be dealing with condensation. And the way we, especially in a smaller RV, try to prevent that condensation from happening is we do a couple things. One, we open up our max vent fan, give it just a crack to allow circulation of airflow out in that direction. We have a small fan that we'll sometimes use if need be, but our game changer when it comes to condensation is a small dehumidifier.
You talking about this?
A small dehumidifier. Yes, I mean for us, some folks will use the traditional size ones, but because we have such a small rig, an RV, we have to accommodate. And so we have a small dehumidifier. And let me tell you, that puppy comes in handy, especially during those winter months. So we're really excited to, get out there and explore and soak up that moisture in the dehumidifier and not on my walls, because and so does Bray, right, Bray? I too hate sweaty walls.
Oh God, I hate sweaty walls, especially if there's no catnip involved. Do you hear all those grackles?
Gotta say hi to the grackles.
The grackles are everywhere.
Grackles are speaking to us.
They're in the trees. Listen.
I just hope they don't crap on the rig.
I know, we just got them washed.
They might.
Can you sing?
Oh no, they're all coming in.
Oh, look at them.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
We're gonna have some crap up there with those solar panels.
Don't you dare say that.
All right. Well, they're still serenading us. Those grackles won't let them. But we need to talk about one more feature of our RV that was super important to us, is super important to us, and that of course is all-wheel drive. We do a lot of driving on snow-covered roads, ice,
mud.
Exactly, mud as well. Traction's been great. We have a lot of confidence in driving this thing. Super important. And plus, we actually just did, hot off the presses, an absolute major mod. And we're gonna cover that in an upcoming video. So hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for that. My goodness gracious. Tanu's technique for getting rid of the grackles. You have a better way. I think you should kind of yell it out.
Grackle!
Grackle! Grackle! That's not working.
Grackles! Wait, I'm afraid they're gonna poop me, Dave. Seriously, because I keep flying my head.
The story of the grackles.
So since you're hanging out with Dave and myself and the grackles this long, there's a couple of quick bonuses I want to share with you. Even if it's the winter, you don't always have to sit inside and be stuck in the warmth. You can also take that warmth on the outside. And a couple quick things that we enjoy. One here is our propane fire pit. Whether you're using a individual 20-pound propane tank that you may carry an extra one, for us, we have a quick connect that we tend to connect directly to our RV, which is very, very handy. Sit around the fire and have a couple drinks. Now, there's another thing that we like to use, which is a fire pit. Basically, it's called a solo fire pit. And for us, it's very, very efficient. You get a couple stacks of wood and we can go through those very, very slowly because of the efficiency of this stove. So we really do enjoy that, getting outside and enjoying some of nature, even in the winter months, right?
Exactly. Enjoy the campfire. I love the winter campfire.
And with this whole, I can make s'mores. Who doesn't love s'mores in the winter?
I'm hungry.
I love s'mores in the winter. Actually, I can go for some s'mores right now. I'm kind of hungry.
I like that. Steak and s'mores.
All right, so we lied. There's actually one final thing that you have to do, especially if you're going to be inside staying toasty warm during these cold winter months.
That's right. Check out the full tour video of Desert Snow right here.
That's right, you guys. Check it out right there. Well, wait a second. Just tap somewhere, but right there. And we'll see you in the next one.